My name is Mathenge John Munene, and I'm the Country Director for Save the Children Canada Kenya program. I find it befitting and take this opportunity to say a word of farewell to John Bowis, who I have known since 1996 when we engaged for the first time with the offices of Save the Children New Zealand. Since then, we have had very cordial and supportive working relationship as partners in Save the Children Alliance and also in our Kenya program. I do recall very well when John Bowis came the first time and we traveled to Meru and traveled to the deeper parts of the country. It was very interesting to see myself with a CEO like John Bowis sitting underneath the trees with partners, talking about programs, talking about problems that they face and talking about the challenges and how to overcome them, and how responsive John Bowis was to what these people in that rural area of Kenya were saying to him, and how he was responding and trying to explore opportunities of how we can work together to solve the problems they were expressing. It is not usual to find a CEO, and coming all the way from New Zealand, not many New Zealanders come to Kenya, so in itself to have a person from New Zealand was a great occasion. And after that meeting, we came up to an agreement that Save New Zealand was going to support us to implement a female genital mutilation or female cut project to help girls exit female genital cutting, which was a very common practice in the area we had visited at that time. And for 1 year, we worked on a program together. Thanks, John, for that support. And thanks, Save New Zealand, for actually, that was the first opportunity of our engagement. After that, we did meet with John Bowis and explored ways of expanding the programs, and we got into water and sanitation projects together with Save the Children New Zealand under the stewardship of John Bowis. What I recall very well is one time sharing with John Bowis, this is personal, and he said, if we do this well here in Kenya, then Save New Zealand will also be assured of long-term block funding with the New Zealand government. That in itself was a very interesting kind of challenge. And that in itself clearly indicated the kind of vision that John Bowis always had for Save New Zealand: growth, growth, and growth. And as in Kenya, we worked towards that and we achieved that goal. With Save New Zealand support, we have continued to support programs for people living with AIDS, which has kept parents alive longer, and that means children have not been orphaned, and a project we do together known as the Total Care Initiative. We have also programs for youth in the same region that John initiated, the first project of FGM, and we have continued to consolidate our programming in that region together with New Zealand. John Bowis has always told me he comes from a sporting family and his love for sports. Sometimes I told him the New Zealand sport I know, I've always heard about the Blacks, John Alomu and All Blacks of New Zealand. It was always very interesting, and John Bowis could give me more and more about what happens with the All Blacks. And I think John Bowis on retirement, even if he doesn't play sports, will always be a great supporter of sports also in New Zealand. Sometimes we play different levels, coaches, managers, and also we can play other roles of supporters, like John Bowis will do on retirement. I think he can never get out of sports. And we in Kenya will always remember John Bowis for all he has always done for us and the way he has steered with his team in the New Zealand office. They have always done an annual visit, even if it's not John Bowis in person, and we have always enjoyed those moments. So thanks, John, for being such a strong leader of the New Zealand office, and for being such a strong supporter of us in Kenya, and being a strong supporter of Save the Children Canada on behalf of other staff of Save the Children Canada, both in Kenya and even in Toronto office. They always speak highly of you, John. And the children of Kenya, I won't forget, those children who have always benefited from the support that has always come from your office in New Zealand. We will always remain indebted. Kwaheri, kwaheri, and please have an enjoyable retirement, and let's keep in touch. Thank you, John.